everybody. This is Dr. Carmen Bryant, your host for Redefining Yourself, a program that I developed for women that are thinking of leaving and needing more education, or have left and are recovering from domestic violence. The specific domestic violence that I talk about is narcissist abuse. So I am a narcissist abuse recovery specialist. I am a licensed mental health counselor in the state of Washington. I am a trauma specialist, and I'm also a life coach. And so I like to bring information to you, awareness, to make you aware, first of all, of what narcissistic personality disorder is and the effects it has on relationships and some of the effects that you guys are going through. And so I'm very honored, first of all, to all of you that have just newly subscribed to my YouTube channel. I'm so thankful that you decided to join me and that there's something that I say that helps you in your process of healing or of your process of understanding what has happened to you. You know, this is one of those situations in which is very shameful. Most people don't believe you when you try to describe what happens. The fear is that why tell anybody, because no one believes this is happening to me or has happened, because many of the narcissists are covert narcissists, so they are acceptable in society. People love them. They have great personalities. They're wonderful people. But at home, the family is going through pure hell. They're being tormented. They're being tortured. The things that they say, and so I wanted to bring awareness, but I wanted to validate, what you're feeling, what you have been through, and to let you know that you're not crazy. And so even though the program was more focused on women, men go through the same thing that women go through. And it doesn't matter what type of relationship you're in. Narcissist is narcissist, male or female. The attributes are the same. The behaviors are the same. The thinking patterns are the same. The only difference is that females may use their femininity or seductive traits to do what they want to do, or they use their femininity as a weakness to make them look like the victims at all time. But a narcissist is always a victim. And so both male and females do the same thing. It's just different when it comes to gender, because females can be more vicious, and when I say vicious, they will use the law, they will use their femininity, they will use their, even the fact that they may be smaller than the partner that they're with. They use all those things, against their partners. And so males go through it just as well as females go through it. And so I really want to honor the men that have joined us here on YouTube that also add encouragement, that add their stories, to share their stories and talk about what they've been through when they've been in a narcissistic relationship with a female. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Thank you guys so much for the comments. Thank you for interacting with me. Thank you for all the emails and sharing your stories. I am so honored that you would trust me with that. And remember, I always say that everybody that's on YouTube is not a survivor, and is also, even though they may be coached, some of them are actually narcissists. So even everyone that's on the YouTube channels that are watching, and some people that even comment from time to time. Sometimes I try to protect you. I try to protect most people. If I suspect that there may be a narcissist and they make certain comments, I will delete the comments before they get to you. And then sometimes you just don't know. They're very cunning. They're very swift. A lot of them like to hide in the crowds. They're hiding in plain sight. And so I want you guys to be very careful with who you connect with, especially during your healing process when you're wide open. Your emotions are wide open. Everything is wide open, and you're gasping for air and you're looking for help. So that is a perfect time for a narc to begin fishing. They throw bait out there, with kind words and certain things. So I want you guys just to be very cognizant and very careful of who you connect with and who you watch and let feed you, because you become what you eat. And so be careful who you connect with. Be careful when people are when they compliment you a lot, and especially when they're trying to connect with you a lot, trying to see you, Be careful, be careful. Use these videos as a teaching, as a tool to protect you guys, because you've been injured enough. You don't need another injury. When you're wide open and you haven't healed, that's perfect timing for narcs to go and start fishing for, using bait to start fishing for supply. That's what narcissists do, and social media is a perfect place that narcissists can find new supply. And so be very, very careful. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. My feet were kicking the camera. And so today I wanted to go, first of all, before I start, if you have not already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Carmen Bryant with a T, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Make sure you hit the bell so that you can see whenever I load new videos, and you also see whenever I come live, which is usually on Sundays between 8 and 9 Pacific Standard Time. I am on the West Coast, Washington State, not Washington, D.C. So East Coast is 3 hours ahead, and then we have other places that are 4 to 6 to 7 to 8 hours ahead. And so thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for connecting with me. You can go to my professional Facebook page, which is Psychological Health Consultants and Services, and you're welcome to hit the thumbs up button so that you can follow. I do post the videos whenever I finish on YouTube. I always go post the videos on Facebook and invite you to come join me on YouTube. And so I find it, because it takes, especially the videos a little long, it takes a long time to load on Facebook. And so when it's loading on YouTube and loading on Facebook at the same time, sometimes the videos come up late or they post late. And so what I've been doing lately is just recording on YouTube and then posting the videos over on Facebook so they'll load up quicker and you guys get the videos quicker. I've had a busy schedule this week, and so a lot of videos I had to do later, so you guys are getting the videos later. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for following. So today I wanted to talk about, I wanted to add a few topics together to give you guys an idea. For some of you guys are really hurting. You don't understand. It's like you're off kilter. You're like your whole world's been turned upside down and you're really confused. You're frustrated. You're confused. What has happened? How did I end up where I am? How did this happen? And so I wanted to talk about love bombing, the Komodo dragon, and the results of trauma. So I know those are you like, wow, what is she getting ready to say? I know, same thing I said. How do these three fit together? So first of all, the tool that is used to pull supply in. Keep in mind that narcissists watch you. Social media is a pool of fish. It is a place where narcissists hunt. This is a place where they fish and they use whatever bait they possibly can to pull you in. How can a person be in love with you, or how can a person admire you so much just by looking at you on social media? Something's wrong with that picture. So they use that to fish. When they find a supply, when they find a potential supply, they study you, watch how you talk, watch what kind of pictures you post, what do you talk about, what is valuable to you, what do you do. That's why I say lock it up, y'all, lock it up so all the public can't see. It's a world wide web. It goes global. No surprise, it's not in Mars. You got Martians looking at you, but it's global. It's worldwide. Everybody's looking at you. That's not the type of attention that you want, especially after coming out of a narcissist relationship. So first of all, they're hunting for supply. If they're in the general area, they may stop by or happen to see you in public, but they just watch you to see how you talk, to see how you interact. They kind of size you up like a snake. They kind of size you up, to see what type of prey you are, to see what kind of tactics they're going to have to use to make their move. Some of them are very patient, and they watch you for a long time. Then they come around, they stalk you without you even knowing that they're stalking you. And so be very careful. Once they make contact with you, they begin the love bombing. All of them are not very obvious where you get a lot of compliments, you get a lot of flowers or anything. Some of them are very conversationalists. They converse with you, they converse with you, but you will get into the love bombing phase. When you get into a love bombing stage, it is a tool that is used to manipulate you and seduce you. It is a seductive tool. Love bombing, basically, and this is the best way I can describe it, this is the seductive stage where, remember I keep talking about Mowgli and the snake on the Jungle Book. And remember, you start looking in his eyes, and his eyes, he started getting hypnotized. Well, this is that stage where they're releasing, like, anesthesia. It's like they're releasing anesthesia to activate that oxytocin to give you, and it messes with the chemicals in your brain, the dopamines and the serotonin, but it gives you that calm, warm, fuzzy, calm feeling. That's the whole point. It's like they're biting and they're releasing these toxins, and it's causing you to relax, and it's causing you to take your walls down, all the walls you've built up, and it opens up all your senses. And so they get into your senses. And I'm going to tell you why the Komodo dragon plays a role in this. And so this is like a seductive stage where they release these chemicals. The oxytocin starts moving around and starts activating these dopamines, this feel-good sensation, and they're seducing you, and it's like they're sedating you. They're sedating you, they're manipulating you. It's the art of seduction, and it is also like anesthesia, so that you'll relax because they're going to take a bite. This is how the Komodo dragon plays a role in here. So studying the Komodo dragon kind of put a narcissist in a Komodo dragon suit. So it talks about a Komodo dragon. The Komodo dragon, a Komodo dragon can be up to 150 pounds. It's like a human being, 150 pounds, and the females can be up to 8 feet long. And so these are some huge dragons. They have these claws, and they can swim, but they are aggressive at pursuing their prey. They even go after people. And so it talks about their feeding habits. And so this is on Bio Expedition, talking about the Komodo dragon. And it says, number one, a Komodo dragon has an exceptional sense of smell. Narcissists have an exceptional sense of smell, taste, hearing. They listen to everything that you say. Your pictures, your body movements, the way that you say things. They watch everything, and they look at you to pick up details about you. Your smell, the type of perfumes you wear, how you do your hair, your makeup, everything. You know, for males, females do the same thing, and they watch you. Remember, they're watching their prey. They're predators, and they're watching their prey, and they're looking for weaknesses. So they're watching you to see how you talk, to see what moves you. They throw little subtle words out of there. Remember, words is coded. Words are coded. They throw those words out to see your responses and your reactions, and to see, so they're sizing up their prey. So the Komodo, it says the Komodo can smell up to 6 miles away. Narcissists are human beings, but think about it. There are certain animals that can smell the female in heat or the male in heat, but they're exceptional at their senses. Their senses are very keen, and they watch everything that you do and say. They use everything as a weapon against you. And so this right here says the sense of smell allows them to find their prey at ease. Well, a narcissist finds their prey at ease because they look through social media. They find you, they watch you, they research you, they look for you, they read about you, they want to know something, they want to know all the details about you. That's why they ask a lot of questions about you, but you notice that they only give you pieces and parts of information that is relevant to you, and they give you information that relates to your information so that you guys can get a bond, so you guys can connect. But they'll never tell their real story. So let's see, it says that the combination of their speed, so they're fast, narcissists are quick, fast, and you're wondering, like, how in the world did I get into this situation? They're quick. They move very fast. Everything is fast. That's why they do a lot of future faking too. They move really, really quick in order to attain their supply, to lock in their supply. Powerful teeth and strong venom means that they are almost always victorious when it comes to getting their prey. So check this out. Sometimes the predator, the Komodo, will bite a prey and then let them get away, because the venom that they release in here slowly shuts down their, suppresses their immune system, suppresses their bodily functions, and the bacteria that's in their mouth. This is what it says. The bacteria that's in their mouth infects the prey and kills it. And so all they wait for the person to do, not the person, well, the narc waits for the person to do, but the Komodo's waiting for a slow death of the prey. They're just waiting around, waiting for the prey to die so they can go eat. When they do bite and hold on to their prey, they inject venom, which means that the prey can't move at all. So once a narcissist has grabbed a hold of you, it feels like it's almost impossible to escape out of the grasp of a narcissist. And many of you have gotten away from a narcissist and went no contact, but it's almost like these are vicious, like it's almost like watching a horror movie where these zombies are they're trying to get at you. What a narcissist, if you cut them off or discarded a narcissist, it's almost like they're fighting to get to you. They're fighting to get to you. Like that Komodo dragon, once they bite, they won't let you go. So in the seductive phase, they're releasing these. It's almost like this. What did I say before? They're releasing these chemicals to suppress your immune system, to lower your defenses, to relax you. And those words are very almost like rhythmic, almost hypnotic, to calm you down, to seduce you, to mesmerize you, because you're probably hearing things that you've never heard before. How beautiful you are, how smart, how handsome, how strong. Everything that was a weakness, everything that you've spoken that was a vulnerability, they feed into that. And so most of you that have been discarded, and that's why I come to Psychology Today when we talk about the emotional stress, that trauma, the connection between emotional stress and trauma and physical pain. Well, most of you guys who have, remember, when you've been sedated, sometimes you're going through this trauma and you don't feel the trauma. You know, you're wondering what's wrong because eventually that mask will fall off, but you're wondering what has happened. How did I end up like this? So many of you that have been discarded or have discarded, you know, you're wondering, how did I get to this point? Most of you guys have been trauma bonded. Most of you guys have been traumatized horrifically, have been really, I mean, mentally and emotionally and physically traumatized. You know, you're coming out of like you've been in World War 14, you know, and the trauma that you have experienced. And on Psychology Today, I was reading, and this is what I teach a lot of my clients as well. When you've been through high levels of stress, they always keep you, they're dramatic, so they always keep you in these high levels of stress. They keep you almost like confused, off-kiltered, you know, they gaslight, they confuse you, they traumatize you, where you just, it's almost like you can't even trust your own reality. Well, when those levels of stress are constantly at a high level, it releases, what's the word I'm looking for? The cortisol. It releases that cortisol, that overproduction of cortisol. That's why some women, you know, the big bellies, but a lot of the women carry it in their stomachs. But you'll notice you'll all of a sudden begin, because these high stress levels that are also a part of post-traumatic stress that you guys have went through, or complex post-traumatic stress, meaning the consistent post-traumatic stress, because you're consistently going through this trauma, you'll find that you'll have a lot of chronic pain, because remember, those high levels of stress is tearing down your immune system, and once your immune system is begin to become when it affects your immune system cannot fight, you know, simple things like a cold. It suppresses the immune system. It begins to affect the major organs. You'll begin to experience chronic pain. You know, you'll have like gastrointestinal problems, anxiety, hopelessness, you know, a lot of other disorders, depression, and people that, you know, it also talks about like, you know, simple injuries, inflammations in the body. Some people have fibromyalgia, you know, fibroid issues, you know, migraine headaches, stress headaches, problems with sleeping, nightmares. You're constantly hypervigilant. You're constantly playing over and over again. Some of you even said it. Constantly those words, those spores that they release, and spores that come from like fungus. Those spores get into your brain and it causes an infection like meningitis. And once that meningitis sets into the brain and goes into the spinal cord, it can kill you. That fungus can kill you. But their words, the words that they use, first of all, is like that Komodo dragon saliva that has that bacteria in it. Those spores that were released in your system that goes into your brain. It almost like confuses you. Your reality is no longer a reality. All the things that you used to think about yourself has been totally misconstrued, and you even have problems with trusting your own decisions or opinions, even with leaving. You know, I can't survive by myself, but you were surviving long before you met the narcissist, or if you've been in narcissistic relationships all the time. And so let's see. It talks about here that studies found that more anxious and stressed people are the more tense and constricted in their muscles, over time causing muscles to become fatigued and inefficient. It does suppress the immune system. It does affect the immune system. Let's see. It says that about 15 to 30% of patients with chronic pain also have post-traumatic stress disorder. Let's see. Peter Levine, who's an expert in trauma, explains that trauma happens when our ability to respond to a perceived threat in some way threat is in some way overwhelming. It says most researchers disagree on precise definition of trauma, but do agree that typical trauma responses might include psychological symptoms such as numbing, hyperarousal, hypervigilance, nightmares, flashbacks, helplessness, and avoidance behavior. Let's see. During a traumatic event, which most of you guys have probably been in traumatic events with an S, with this narcissist, they are drama. They're traumatic, they're trauma, and because you've been in traumatic events, the nervous system goes into a survival mode, and that is the sympathetic nervous system, and sometimes has difficulty reverting back to its normal, relaxed mode again. They got you relaxed, and then they inflicted all this pain in your relaxed state. So by the time you realize that you've been traumatized, the damage has already been done. The spores have already been released in your brain, and now you're trying to survive and trying to get, try to reach for water, try to reach, not water, but reach for oxygen. What has happened? So if the nervous system stays in survival mode, which is that fight or flight, or that adrenaline, when you have that much adrenaline, you're always in fight or flight. They put you in this, they activate that fight or flight mode all the time. And so when your body stays in that constant fight or flight, it tears down the immune system. And it says here that when the nervous system stays in survival mode, stress hormones such as cortisol, which is usually found for women in their stomach area, are constantly released, causing an increase in blood pressure and blood sugar. Which can in turn reduce the immune system's ability to heal. So see, it causes the body to not be able to heal itself from simple things, common colds, scabs, coughs, physical symptoms may start to manifest when the body's in constant distress. Chronic pain, fibromyalgia, headaches, migraines, gastrointestinal problems, reproductive issues. Let's see. Sleep problems. And when you start having sleep problems, sleep is to help you regenerate for the next day. Well, if you're not getting a sufficient amount of sleep, your body is unable to rest and regenerate. And so a lot of you are going through this. Let's see. If someone has experienced a trauma prior to their current injury or trauma, old memories can potentially be triggered, exacerbating the effects of newer trauma. So those of you that have been traumatized, like family trauma, family narcissist, that you get with a narcissist, is just compiling. So is making it worse. Let's see. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, who is a very prominent, and I think this is where I got my certification, my training through with trauma studies. He's a well-known trauma researcher, and he explained that research has shown that under ordinary conditions, many traumatized people, including rape victims, battered women, and abused children, have fairly good psychosocial adjustment. However, they do not respond to stress the way other people do. Under stress, they may feel or act as if they are traumatized all over again. And some of you guys are triggered because the trauma was so intense that you're constantly triggered. You don't respond to stress like most people do. You over respond to stress, as opposed to some people that are able to cope and deal with stress. A lot of you overreact to stress because your immune system, your neurological system has been affected. And a lot of you have never been treated, have never gone to therapy to help you in this process. That trauma, you have to find a trauma professional and someone that understands narcissist abuse but find a trauma specialist. Let's see. Often physical pain functions to warn a person that there is still emotional work to be done. And it can also be a sign of unresolved trauma in the nervous system. So the body keeps score. There's also a book about there. There's a prominent writer, researcher that talks about the body keeps score. I'm not sure if that was him or not, but the body keeps score. So your body keeps score of the trauma that you've been through in your immune system, in your DNA, in your genetics. It can be passed on. So if you're an anxious person after all that anxiety, when you have a baby inside of you, can be passed on to the baby. The baby ends up being a very colicky, nervous baby, prone to PTSD, more susceptible to post-traumatic stress. Let's see. Even if one has grieved and processed the emotional impact of trauma, the nervous system might still unwittingly be in survival mode. So that survival mode has to be turned off, and that takes therapy. Let's see. So, let's look. It says, since trauma has been found to have strong correlation in chronic pain, a combination of psychotherapy and physical therapy could be most logic pain management option for stress and chronic pain relief. And so psychotherapy uses imagery, addresses nervous system, and facilitates cognitive behavior therapy is recommended. And so that is just some information I want to give. I didn't want to be on too long, but for those of you that are starting to physically manifest this trauma that you've been through with this individual, and the confusion, disorientation, distortion, you can't trust your own self, you have problems trusting people, that are normal responses to trauma, that your body is responding to trauma. This is what happens. And so hopefully this made sense to you guys. Love bombing, a weapon of manipulation and seduction to calm you, to relax you. It's like a sedative, or what is it called when you go into surgery that I said it a few minutes ago, but what they use for surgery to sedate you, and then the bite takes place. The Komodo dragon, with the bacteria in the mouth, bites you to release these spores and this venom in your system to totally change the way that you think, change your emotions, change the way your outlook on the world, change the outlook on and you don't even realize that this is affecting you, and it's trauma. This trauma is affecting you and flowing through your system, flowing through your nervous system, flowing through your brain, changing the way that you think, changing the way, and it begins to, the high levels of stress, the release of that overproduction of cortisol, the breaking down of the immune system, the effects on your major, your immune system, your neurological system, chronic pain. All this is related. Hopefully this made sense to you. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment on the video. Let me know what you think about this. I wanted to give you this information because a lot of you have been emailing me about the trauma and what you are experiencing and the thoughts you're having. And I thought that this right here would explain some of the things that you guys are experiencing and how trauma works and how these predators do what they do. And so I always say be very careful who you connect with. And once again, thank you guys so much for following me. Thank you guys so much for your support. This doesn't happen, without you guys, because you guys ask me questions and you provide me with feedback. You give me an idea. I'm an analytic thinker. And so when you guys present your stories, it gives me ideas of what to talk about to help prescribe you that penicillin, to prescribe you that medication to help you process through your pain. I suggest many of you go get a good counselor that understands trauma, the effects of trauma, but also understands narcissist abuse, because that is a very unique domestic violence, very unique and very horrific, domestic violence. It is under the umbrella of domestic violence because what they do to you is domestic violence. It's just very unique, and a lot of people just use that term narcissist abuse or narcissist. They just throw it out there as a word to insult someone. No, there's actually narcissistic personality disorder, and you're dealing with a person that has a very severe mental health disorder, but they look like normal functioning people. What does a sociopath look like? What does a psychopath look like? A lot of you are living around sociopaths and psychopaths that are murderers, and I'm not saying all of them, but murderers, you have child trafficking, sex trafficking, and you're dealing with sociopaths and psychopaths, and narcissists are on the same level as they are. What does a child molester look like? What does a murderer look like? Like the average person, the common people. Ted Bundy was a very cordial, nice individual, but so are narcissists. And he was a narcissist, but so are narcissists. So they blend in, and the thing is, they're hiding in plain view. So I want to make you aware so that your ears are open and your eyes are open, to make you more aware of your surroundings and the people that you're around, to protect you, and on top of that, to make you aware so that you can go through your healing process. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sorry it had to be so short because I do have a client coming in. Thank you guys. Subscribe to my channel, Dr. Carmen Bryant, under Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Hit the bell so you can see whenever I load a new video up. Go to my professional Facebook page, Psychological Health Consultants and Services. Hit the thumbs up. I post the videos back. A lot of times I may not be able to go live on both channels. I've had some technical difficulties in the area that I live in, so I may have to go live on YouTube. Stay tuned. I'll be there on Sunday. Today's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. So I usually record Tuesday through Friday. I come on live on Sundays between 8 and 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Thank you guys for your support. And as my friend always says, go and be great.